Hi my crafty creatures, thank you for tuning into this video. So for this video, I wanted to walk you guys through the process of me getting ready for DragonCon. This is something new for me as far as this process that I will be showing you. So I will be kind of letting you know along the way how this ends up working out for me. But to start off, I have 3 costumes that I want to work on. And these are costumes that I've worn in the past and I enjoy them. So I wanted to go through each one of them and kind of redo it or remake it or redesign it in a way that one better suits the con that I'm going to, and it fits me comfortably. And then I want to make sure that all the pieces look the way I want them to look. So for the first costume, I have my core costume. And for that one, I've been wearing that for quite a few years. I think it's been about 6 or 7 years I've been wearing that costume. And, you know, slowly but surely I've been upgrading it. The first 2 years, I used the wrong fabric for that. And it definitely showed because I was like sweating. I was so hot. You could see the sweat from the fabric and stuff. So I have upgraded those over the years. But for this year, I think what I want to do is, one, I want to create a shirt that is more of a bodysuit style. And that way I don't have to like readjust the shirt as much. So that's something I've been having issues with. I've always had to like pull the shirt down and then pull the pants up. And that was something that had been bothering me for a while. So the next thing I have is the pants. And the pants, they're actually at a good point right now. The previous year, last year, I did a pocket into the pants, so that was great, and everything else with it came out fine. So I just want to make another pair of those. That way I can have 2, because sometimes I like to wear that costume more than one day. So the next thing that I want to kind of redo is the boots, and that's because when I initially did them, it was one of the last things I did, and I needed to adjust some things in there, and the shape of it was fine, and the way it went together was majority okay. I think I can figure out a better way of doing that. Another thing that was wrong was the grip that I had put on there. I just used like a rubber sheet thinking that would be good enough, and I had issues with it sticking to the fabric. I also had issues with it not actually having any grip. So it was fine if I was walking on like a rubber floor. I mean, not a rubber floor, but if I was walking on like concrete, the carpet and stuff like that. But as soon as I got onto tile flooring, especially if it was wet or sticky, I was having issues with, one, it not having any grip, so I would start to slide. And then the other thing was with the sticky floors, it ended up starting to lift the rubber from the actual cover or the bottom. And then the other issue I had was the tall part of the boot. I don't know what you would call it, but that part, it had no structure in it. So the only thing that was holding it up was the straps that I had going around it, and then just some like pieces or some snaps that I had put in. And I want to change that to maybe doing like a zipper or something like that. I'm not quite sure, but I want to figure that out. That way I don't have to fiddle with that as much. And then there is a skirt that goes with it. And with the skirt, there's really not much I want to do with that because it's pretty much in a good spot. I may want to redo it. I haven't really completely decided on that because the one that I have is fine. The only thing that I have an issue with is the fur pieces on there. Since they aren't lined, they tend to snag onto the pants, which causes them to peel up a lot quicker. So that might be something that I want to figure out how to get those lined, and that way it doesn't have that issue. I did have a bit of an issue washing it last year, and it ended up turning some of the stuff kind of pinkish. So I may have to get some more fabric just to change that part. But I think that's it for the core costume. So the next costume I have is my elf wizard. So for the elf wizard, last year I didn't wear it because I was trying to redo that costume, and it just, I ran out of time and didn't have enough time to do any of the details that I wanted on it. So it was just really plain. I still have the armor pieces for that, and the armor pieces for that are pretty much good. There's not much I need to do there as far as I can remember. I think the only thing I want to do is put a top coat on there. I don't think I did that last year. So the next thing I want to get to is just like the whole, like the fabric part of the costume. So for that, since it's so plain, I want to make sure I get those detailing on there. And for the detailing, I want to add some trim in there, and then I want to add some like vinyl designs on there as well. So I'll have to try to figure out what kind of design I want there and what trim I want to add on there to give it more detail. There might be some like chain or jewelry that I want to add into that costume. I haven't completely decided, but the main thing I want to make sure that I get to is the staff. The staff I've been so upset with for like the last, like, I want to say 4 or 5 years I've been wearing that costume, because I made the staff, didn't know what I was doing. It was the first time I ever made a staff. And the way I made it, it was really annoying to carry around the con. Like there was parts of it that were perfectly fine, but where I would normally want to hold my hand, that's where I had the issue, because it was just weirdly shaped. So I was just having issues just keeping that like in my hand. And I also want to make sure that it is something that I can take apart and put back together, because that was one of the main things. It was hard to travel with because you have like this 5-foot like staff, and it definitely needs to be able to break down into smaller pieces. That way I can at least carry it like in something smaller or put it in my suitcase. I need to like figure out and adjust it. And then the design of it, for me, it was supposed to be like a water staff, and it was supposed to be like a water wizard elf kind of thing. And I feel like I attempted to do that, and I did the best I could at the time, but it definitely did not come out the way I wanted it to. So I want to try to redesign that and make sure that I leave room for it to be able to be broken down and not like look weird. But I also want to kind of make that water more present in the staff. And then there was like a crystal that I tried to make. I used UV resin for it, and that was like that could have gone worse than what it actually did. But I did have fun with that process. I actually have actual resin instead of UV resin, so I want to remake that and see if I can get maybe a light in there somehow. I don't know much about electronics and stuff, so I won't be able to do anything like really extravagant. I'll probably put like a basic light, and maybe we'll see how like intricate I can get with that. I would prefer to have like a button that I could press, but it may just be like some fairy lights and a switch or something. But we will see what goes on for that. Yeah, so that is all that I want to do for that one. Then I have my Lady Silk Sift costume. So for that costume, there's quite a bit that I need to do for that. That one has a full bodysuit that goes with it, and I want to redo that because of the fabric that I used for it last year. It was similar to the one that I used originally, but the issue with it was that it was so thin that it had way more stretch than I was used to with the previous fabric I used. So I need to see if I can find a fabric that is really close to what I had before and then remake it. And then I have the vinyl pieces that I put on there that didn't quite line up where I wanted them to. So I need to redo that when I make the new one. That one, it's really just remaking it in the fabric. So there won't be too many changes as far as what I'll be doing to it. It's just remaking it and making sure that those vinyl pieces sit in the right spot, because when I put the white vinyl stripes on there, it just didn't sit up in the right spot, and then it looked weird. And then it wasn't until after I did that video that I realized what I had done wrong. So I want to remake that part and make it a little more accurate to what I had previously. And then with that done, I will be able to move on to my armor pieces. So the armor pieces they're good. The only problem I have with them is when I originally made them, I was a lot smaller, and I made them kind of like to fit when I was smaller. And now that I'm a little bit bigger, it's like I can get it on, but it definitely hinders some of my movement and some of my ability to like breathe easily. So I want to go ahead and make that in a bigger size. As far as the paint job, I don't think I'm going to be doing anything too much different from that. And then the rest of the pieces are, let me see. Okay, so that costume has like some floating arm pieces that I have there on the suit, and I want to figure out a way to better attach those, because I still want to keep them. It's just I was having issues getting them to kind of stay in place as I wore it throughout the con. Originally what I did is I just hot glued them on there, which I knew was not going to be able to keep it up, but I thought it was going to do better than it did. It was like as soon as I like moved my arm like this, they just popped off, and I was like, well, that didn't last as long as I thought it would. So I want to go through and adjust that and make sure that they actually can like stay on, or if they do pop off, they are easily able to like get back on. So I'll have to figure out what I need to do for that. Oh, one important thing I need to do is figure out some way to get a pocket on that costume, because currently it has nothing. I have like a bodysuit and it's like kind of bulky armor, and I need somewhere to put a pocket that is not like too obvious and easy to like access. So I'll figure out what I need to do there. Oh yes, so there is a vest that I typically wear with that costume, and when I originally made it, I used a pattern, and the pattern worked fine, but what I ended up doing was lining it with a fabric that didn't really stretch, especially with the vinyl that I had a little bit of stretch. So I also need to find a good lining fabric for that. And that should be it as far as what I need to do for the costumes. So with this whole process that I'll be doing, I will be trying to track like as I'm doing everything. So I will be a little more frequent on how I'm posting my videos. I'm hoping, now don't hold me to this, but I am hoping that I can get a video out each week. And that way you guys can kind of really follow along on that process with me. That will be posted every Friday at 12. That's when I post my videos. So I'm hoping that I can get this schedule down packed so that I can get those videos out to you guys. I know that this is not something I have done in a while, so just bear with me. It may end up getting posted like a day later or something like that, but I will definitely try to stick to that process while I'm working through this stuff. And then once I finish with these costumes, I'll start moving on to more Halloween related DIYs and that kind of stuff. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, go on ahead and subscribe to my channel so that you can see more videos like this. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.